In the future, action figures rule the streets, and ruthless gangsters control the supply, and Chinatown is where they wage their wars.
My name's the Sucklord.
Say it one more. The Sucklord.
The Sucklord.
The Sucklord.
Yes.
Okay.
The name Sucklord comes from the suckiness, which is my self-deprecating, misanthropic side, and then the Lord, which is my megalomaniacal, self-aggrandizing side, together in one word. I take bits and pieces of other toys, switch the parts around, sculpt pieces, thereby infusing it with an original meaning, and I make my living doing it. It's kind of like an Andy Warhol thing. It's like he had soup cans and I had stormtroopers.
We had a whole crew of like
Embedded.
of white boys that moved to Tokyo. We had Kurodon, which was our other friend, and this guy Jeremy, the Tokyo toy bastard. I hadn't known them before, and they knew I was coming. They knew me from the toy shit, so they came to help out, and they all speak Japanese, and they showed me around, and they took care of me.
And by the way, I believe they were putting together a little
yeah, they were making a
mini-doc
documentary about
your
the
trip.
Japan, to me personally, I've had an ongoing conversation with Japan since I was a little kid. My first exposure, like probably most kids in America, was through Godzilla. And I was really young. And then the Micronauts, which is an American version of a Japanese toy.
Toys that climb, toys that spin, toys that float, toys that stimulate young minds.
Look what I made.
Micronauts by Mego.
And I remember when I was a kid, we used to buy the regular Micronauts at the toy store, the drugstore, any store. But then there was this weird little tin toy sort of antique store place in my neighborhood when I was a really little kid, and they had Microman there, and we called them Japanese Micronauts.
新しい仲間ミクロマンコマンドメリクロマン
Things that I was familiar with were somehow being filtered through Japan and then back and forth. It seems like American pop culture and Japanese pop culture in this constant 69 position with each other, where it's just this sort of back and forth exchange where we fuck with their shit and they fuck with our shit, and that's just something that just is a natural occurrence. What I just find fascinating about Japan that I don't see in other Asian countries is that, at least for me, there's an interest in both the traditional culture and the pop culture.
I just want to see at least the first picture. Just show me just like a picture of your fucking face.
I've just been completely steeped in everything, just from the architecture to the way the signs look, to just like the presentation of the vintage stuff, the way just you go to all the different Mandarake stores and just see how specific and curated everything is, and just everything is just so laid out in such an intelligent way. And it's like, I don't quite know how it's gonna manifest in the work, but I think that sort of remains to be seen, because I don't know what I'm gonna do exactly yet. I know I'm gonna be really fucking bummed when I go back to New York, and I think somehow my yearning to come back here is gonna manifest in whatever I produce, although I don't quite know what it's gonna look like. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to incorporate the experience specifically, and I don't even know it's going to be like a one-to-one thing, like, oh, I saw this thing in Japan, I'm going to make something based on it. I think it doesn't work that way. It's more of a sort of psychedelic experience where just all the shit just goes in your head, goes all the way back into your subconscious mind and does something there, and then comes back out as a, not, you know, a direct link, but just sort of just a sense of things. Now that I've been here and it seems a little less overwhelming, I was able to take the train by myself and find my way around a little bit and just feel super comfortable here. And just like, the lifestyle is incredible, the eating culture is just fantastic. Just the way people are in the restaurants, especially the izakayas, where just everybody's so excited about everything, and the people bringing you the food and making the food, and everybody's just so psyched. Like, the eating just never gets boring, and every time you go sit down and eat, it's just like this celebration. It's just the most basic thing, just eating and talking to your friends and drinking beer, and it's just like, and everybody's just so fucking happy and excited.
Use Data Dub, I'm the Sucklord. If you use our civilian names in any professional capacity, you're fired. This is the official Suckadelic signature. Alright, now it's art.
I don't know, I would really hope that this is successful enough to justify the whole exercise. You know, I don't have any expectations, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm a businessman and I'm practically minded, and all the idealism and all the big talk is fine, but at the end of the day, if people don't buy it, it's really difficult justifying continuing to do it. I hate that that's the fact, but you know, it's the way the world works, and I guess we'll see. I don't know if this show doesn't sell out tonight, but I guess we'll see about that. Everyone seems really super fucking friendly. And it seems sincere, but I can't tell. I can't fucking tell if anybody really gives a shit or not.
とてもその大真面目にふざけられる人。でなんかこういうものとかもすごく普通の人にとったらすごくどうでもいいことかもしれないけど、でもなんかそういうところをすごく大真面目にこう楽しんでる、ふざけている感じがすごくいいなと思って。彼の作ってるものはおもちゃだけど、でもなんかそういうところがなんかストリートの文化に通じるなって思ってます。
I'd like to continue to come out here and be influenced by the culture here and be able to continually to interact. I'd really like to actually come out here for an extended stay, if possible, some sort of artist residency. I mean, just being out here for a couple of days, I've just already been getting a bunch of new ideas and things like that.
Sucklord is the first artist I was actually familiar with before actually coming here. My friend Brian owns a couple of his toys and sent me a documentary about him about 6 months ago, so I had to come down and check it out.
好きなアイコン、あとフォーマットの使い方が面白い。アンディ・ウォーホル的にかっこいいのかな、まあそういう同じものをずっと使い続けるのがかっこいいかな。
Morgan is a really thinking man's person. He'll spend all day in the studio working, listening to talk radio and political commentary. And he'll just get really feisty and want to make some sort of comment, but he transposes it and translates it through like kind of a Star Wars or pop culture or porn, monster, space, micronauts, toy language. But actually the subtext of what he's putting into the packaging or the characters themselves is oftentimes it's manifesting a political opinion of his, which I think is fantastic. He's a very forward-thinking person, and it's one of my favorite things to see.
I feel in order to really get at the real essence of things, you can't just kind of breeze through. You have to be here, and you have to get to know people, and that's something I'd be interested in doing. Because I'm just, I thought I loved New York and everything, but I realized I didn't ever go anywhere. I hadn't left New York for over a year. And I think when I'm holding on to New York out of this sort of prideful nostalgia, because the city itself doesn't even resemble anything that I actually once liked about it. And here I'm seeing things that I miss about New York that are long gone, that are still alive here. And you can just do shit here that you can't do in New York. There's no bars with toys in New York. And here there's more than one. And it's normal, and it's like those type of things really turn me on. And I'm tired of trying to make something like that in New York because it just isn't welcome there. The money just doesn't add up, so being able to do those things here would be pretty awesome. It went pretty well. I mean, we weren't charging a ridiculous amount of money, but I think, as a first attempt, it went well, and it gave me a good sense of what has traction and what doesn't. So when I come back again, I can refine the work a little bit more. The future for the Sucklord is currently, thankfully, somewhat open. A lot of my older ways of doing things, both personally and creatively, are come to their conclusion. And I need to go back to New York now and reassess my career and focus a little bit more on what's really important, what's really working. Man, it's fucking great here. And I didn't realize how livable it was. And I'm really, part of me is considering just fucking moving here. I see a lot of white guys who've chosen to live here, and they all seem really fucking happy. I wonder if I get sick of it. I guess we'll see.
The 10 bootleg commandments, yeah, that's a thing. You wanna play the game, line up, kiss the ring. Rule number 1, you wanna be a toy maker. Understand the Sucklord, the originator. Study his moves, then do something different. Set yourself up with all the proper equipment, like a pressure pop to squeeze out the bubbles. A painter set it up, but it's worth all the trouble. Style can be rough, no need to overwork it, but a figure full of holes, that's the fucking worst, kid. 3, you'll need yourself a dedicated workspace. Gonna make a mess and produce a lot of waste.
I have this original promo card that was given out to attendees and basically distributed around Tokyo at various toy and indie art shops to promote the gallery event. You can see here the date and stuff. This was 2016, and then on the back here is a selection of some of the items that were on display at the event. Anyway, there was one particular piece that he had on display at the gallery, which you can see right here. and you'll notice that the bottom piece of one of the center figures is missing. That's because when we were displaying this, one of the bottom torsos of this Acroyer lineup actually just broke off and fell. And the Sucklord handed it to me and asked me if I wanted it. And I was like, yeah, sure. So here it is. This is the only actual piece from the gallery itself that I did keep, and it was free. And I keep it displayed in this Takara Microman case. I take it out of here. Anyway, here's the little Acroyer legs, just molded resin. Nothing too special, but to me, it has a nice little memory attached to it. So I think a big part of collecting is about the memories that are involved. Not always. Sometimes it's just aesthetics. But obviously, I wouldn't just keep, random fucking legs.
The 10 bootleg commandments, yeah, that's a thing. You wanna play the game, line up, kiss the ring. Rule number 1, you wanna be a toy maker. Understand the Sucklord, the originator. Study his moves, then do something different. Set yourself up with all the proper equipment like two.